to start off, I'm curious how you calibrated the humor and the drama. It's a very deeply felt story. It's your story in a way, but it also has it's so light on its feet at the same time.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm quite emotional right now. Sorry. It's the end of a journey with these guys for about took me 20 years to get this made. So it's I've got I got family and friends here today.
Right.
Many of them knew me when I met Hervé, and so it's just a really nice thing 20 years later to make this film. And I just never thought it was going to get made. So I was watching the scene in the hotel room, and the way Jamie and Peter did it was exactly the way it happened with me and Hervé. Those lines when I said to him, "I'm glad I stayed," and Hervé said, "I don't feel so alone now," and it just broke my heart. And so to be able to kind of bring the story out of my memory and into the audience is something just it's hard to really describe. But so I'm just very proud to be here, and I love these guys because I'm just talking about them for a minute before I completely lose my shit. I think that's happened, let's face it. It's like, I think for me, a great performance is always, the question you must ask is, how much can I tolerate revealing? And for both Peter and Jamie, it was really personal for various different reasons, some obvious, some not. And they really were willing to go there so that the audience, so that you guys could be brought into the story. And it's so fucking hard to really expose yourself and be vulnerable like that. So I just want to say to my actors, of whom I'm so fucking proud, thank you for being this good.
Your move, guys. No, I'm kidding. It's remarkable. Congratulations again. I don't know how I'm going to follow that, but I'm going to give it my best. I do want to let's hear from the performers, because you were saying a little bit, Jamie, backstage, that you didn't necessarily take it all on your shoulders to be playing Sacha per se. I mean, you're sort of channeling his experience, but it wasn't this nerve-wracking thing as I would imagine it would be for an actor, where you feel like, oh my gosh, did he have black socks on or did he tie his shoes that way? I mean, you're sort of interpreting a little more broadly, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I'd been playing like Sacha Gervasi as, I would have been dealing with that every day. Can you imagine? Like, we wouldn't have got through if it was like, So I think separating it slightly and playing, a version of Sacha and trying to depict a version of events that took place between Sacha and Hervé, I think was beneficial to everybody in terms of sort of sanity reasons, I think, really, and Sacha being able to focus on just being a director and making the best picture that we could make, and not totally focusing on me trying to capture the sort of idiosyncrasies that he portrays. So yeah, it was taken out of my hands, to be honest. It was never something I had to worry about, because the character was always called Danny Tate. He was never called Sacha, and it always felt like it was open for me to do my own thing with it.
And I'd love to get both of your thoughts on this. I feel like you're playing in this area that you're very familiar with. I mean, this is a story about show business in a way, partially, right? I mean, talk about that aspect of it. Was that maybe the least interesting part of it to you? It comes across like you really bring a certain familiarity to it, which I enjoyed as a viewer. But I wondered, as you were working on it, if it was something conscious, or you just sort of, for you were moving toward a deeper place or a deeper story. I mean, is it in some ways about fame, about Hollywood, about the system, at least in part?
Yeah, I mean, it's about the abstract notion of fame and what it really is. And it really is nothing but the sum of the parts of what you've done in your life, and it has nothing to do with you. You try to understand what it is when you're confronted with it day to day. And I think Hervé maybe just sort of dived too deeply into an abstract notion, and perhaps too much, without having some other things to support it.
Yeah, well, he
And
uses,
that's what can be dangerous.
he talks about Salvador Dali early in the film, which I think is an interesting construct. He's dead on in a sense. I mean, he was seeing it as a means to an end, but it's an awfully elusive goal that he set for himself, don't you think? Or did he attain that goal? I don't know.
I think he perhaps, I cannot speak for the man, and I never could during the filming and the whole process of making this movie. But I think he perhaps, and I don't judge him either ever, but perhaps early on he put some things aside and replaced them with some other things that maybe if he stuck with a certain path, I think he would have found a lot more happiness in his life. That's from what I've gathered in the process of making this movie.
I see.
And what a brilliant fucking painter he was. And all due respect, Hervé, he was better painter than he was an actor. So it's sort of, he let other people take his hand and lead him somewhere else where he should have put his feet forward.